We had this challenge created for us by data schooler Simon Evans, and thanks so much for this challenge. Even as someone who doesn't know a lot about football, I was still able to complete it, so I hope that you all were too, but let's go through the solution together nonetheless. So you can see in my connections pane over on the left here that I've actually only got one of the seasons through at the moment, and that's the 2015 to 2016 season. So basically, I've just inputted that as a table, and then in that input step itself, I've gone into the multiple files tab, selected wildcard union. It's then searching in that folder that I've downloaded the data from, and it's finding all of those files, all those different seasons, and I've just clicked on that big blue apply button, and it's unioned all seasons together, stacked them on top of one another. And a good way to check if that's kind of working well is that I checked that I had the 55 fields beforehand, and after I clicked applied, I still have 55 fields, so Prep had known exactly what fields to stack on top of which, and that's kind of a good indication that things have worked well. The only thing that I did as well in the input step is just remove that file paths, because we've got information about the season in one of our fields already, so we didn't really need those file paths to be coming through. The next thing that we need to do, there was a couple of filters that we needed to apply to this data set. So it's a very wide data set. We've got about 55 fields, so quite a lot. And so the first thing we're doing is we're filtering out some of the rows from there, and we're filtering out from the position we're removing the goalkeepers. So to do that, basically what I did, click on a position that you want to exclude. I'm just demonstrating with a defender here, and I would just click on exclude up here at the top. I won't do that because obviously I want to keep my defenders in there. For appearances, when you first input the data, it's probably going to be showing you this summary view like this. There are many different ways that you could filter out those 0 appearances, but for me, I find it easiest just to go into the view state, change it to detail, and then click on the 0 that's there, and again hit exclude. We'll talk about different ways to filter a bit later in this solution. So that's nice and simple, doing a bit of filtering. Now we're trying to work out that open play goals field. And this took a little bit of scrolling along the different fields that we have, all the 55, but basically Simon explains it really well in the challenge. What we're wanting to do here, if I zoom in a little bit to there, we're taking our goals field, that's the total goals, and we're minusing off the free kicks and the penalties. And we're making sure that because there are some nulls in both of these free kicks and penalties scored field, we want to use the ZN function around that. So it means that whenever there's a null, just make it a 0. And that's a nice little function to be aware of in Tableau as a whole. So that gives us our open play goals. And then we can just go ahead and find our goals field. The way that I kind of find that when we're looking through this lots and lots of fields is to use the search bar at the top, which I don't often use. But then if I type in the word goal, then you can see all the fields that have the word goal in them. And I can find that this is the one that I wanted to rename to total goals scored. Now we come to doing a little bit of aggregation. So we're going to be looking at it across all these 5 different seasons rather than just individual seasons. And the way that I worked out what the key metrics were was that I looked at the challenge itself and saw what the output required and used those as the key metrics. But it's basically just the ones that we've already touched so far, those concerned with the goals. So again, you could have just used this search box here to find the word goals and kind of dragged over most of them, because that would be the fields that we were focusing on for this challenge. So we're grouping by our name and our position, and we're bringing through our open play goals, the appearances, total goals scored, and then a couple more with the goals left foot, right foot, headed goals. And that's all the information that we need to aggregate up in this step. Finally, we're just going to create another metric here for open play goals per appearance, which is just a nice and simple division there, open play goals over the number over appearances as a field. And you can see that, it's between 0 and 1 generally. Players don't generally score for every time they appear, as far as I know. And then we can go on to do a little bit of ranking. So initially we're just doing a rank based on the open play goals. So to set that up, you go into the create calculator field, rank on the open play goals field, and that gives us this kind of nice pop-up window here. And we're just ranking in a descending order. Obviously 1 will have the highest number of open play goals, and so on and so forth. We're not doing anything more to that. And then we're just filtering to be just 0 to 20. And the way that I did this filter is to go into the drop-down menu again here and to select a range of values and just to click in to type in 20 there. I'm not sure why it's including 21 now, but that's fine, I think. I don't think it actually does include 21. No, it's just 20. So that's how we get to our output number 1. And then the next output, we just need to do exactly the same thing, but this time we're just grouping by position as well, so that we get our top 20 per position. And that's it for this challenge. So hopefully you enjoyed this challenge this week, and thanks very much for watching.